Crafts. I am back today with part 3. I want to finish up the cover on this Easter Parade Traveler's Notebook Journal by Seneca Pond Crafts. If you are just now joining us and have not seen the first 2 parts, you can click up here. It will take you to a playlist where the first 2 videos are located, or you can check out the link below. While you're down there, you can go ahead and like and subscribe if you watch a little bit and like what you see. I'll be more than happy to have you. And for those of you who are back and joining in on the craft with me, we'll pick up where we kind of left off. This is the cover that I showed in the last video, and after kind of looking at it for a while, I was not happy with it. Mainly because part of my butterfly is cut off, and this Punch Studio tag is in here, and I just didn't like where it was sitting at all. So what I did was I remade the cover using the same folder, and this is what I came up with. It is the same size folder. The difference is I remeasured it so that both of the butterflies, no butterflies are cut off, and I know it's a little unconventional to have your journal open this way, but what I was thinking is you could open it this way and you'll have a nice pocket to put some stuff. There's going to be plenty of space in here. Let me show you. Put one of the signatures in there. You'll have plenty of space here to clip a pen, and then this portion, of course, will be the spine, and here you'll have a pocket, and here you'll have a pocket. So really what I did, the only difference is I just shifted the folder over a little bit more, so both of the graphics were in there, and I think I added an 1/8 of an inch. So it's just a little bit longer on the inside here, but then it comes all the way to the edge here. And then I went ahead and did some decorating because I was going to do the faux stitching on camera. I'm glad I did not. It took me about 3 hours to do this, so there's no way. Even speeding it up 20 times, it would have probably been just an hour's worth of speed up time just to watch this. So I'm glad I didn't film it. I just decided to go ahead and do it off camera. But what I essentially did was just put some lace down because this will be the spine that will hold the signatures, and this is the gusset spine, so it's kind of like a fake spine. And I glued some lace on there, and then I just used some of that DMC thread and just made a little pattern, punched the holes, and then just did some fancy cross stitching and some line stitching with it. And essentially this is what it looks like on this side and on this side, but I went ahead and cut another piece that was 1 inch wide by the height, and then just glued over it, because here the same thing will happen with the piece that I will sew my signatures into. This piece here, my signatures will sew here, and then I will glue that. But that will be one of the very last things I do, because I like to sew my signatures in last. That way if I make any changes along the way, I can do it in the signatures because they're not sewn in. I also added a piece of that really pretty fabric that I showed in the last video. I didn't take it all the way down because there's no need to. This portion is going to cover that, and I just felt it was kind of a waste of fabric to have it go all the way down. And pretty much that is where I am at. What I want to do is I want to put something on the corners. I thought about putting some lace all the way up and down. The problem with doing that was it either extended out too far or it covered a portion of the butterfly, which is not what I want to do. I mean, that's kind of the focal point on the whole journal cover itself. What I found was some avocado dyed lace that I dyed a while back. And what I thought is, I like how this crochet pattern has almost like a triangle. And what I wanted to do, I thought about putting this piece, but I thought, too many holes. So I have enough to be able to cut a portion out here for all four corners versus putting a strip that hangs off and all lacy. I just thought this would be pretty. It matches the color. It's not overly lacy. It's not too frilly. It's not hanging out everywhere. That's what I want to do, is I want to go ahead and cut some of these pieces out and sew them on before I glue my pockets in. That way, where I stitch here, the pocket will cover. So I'm going to go ahead and pause now, and now would be a good time for you to get caught up if you're doing this kit with me, to go ahead and get caught up, do any last minute things on the cover that you want to do before we glue the pockets up. I also, just real quick, want to show you that I did do some sewing on the signatures themselves. I'm not going to take them all apart, but I added some lace on a few areas and did some decorative stitching around the pages. And I'll show them all when the journal is finished. I did that before I did this. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and pause, and I'll be back in just a minute. I am back, and I sewed the little corner pieces on, and I think it kind of breaks up the plainness of just those straight edges there around the folder. Alright, what I want to do is glue down my little pockets now, and let's see. How's everyone doing today? Good, I hope. We have been having the warmest weather, and today was warm, but it was extremely windy. So my outside patio furniture cushions went blowing everywhere. Had to chase them down a couple times. That was not fun. But it was warm. Of course, it cooled it way down. Thank goodness. I was starting to get concerned with all this 80, 85 degree weather. So it was nice to have. It cooled it way down too quick because of all that wind. So now it's a little chilly. But it's not freezing, so I'm glad for that. But that's to kind of be expected with spring, isn't it? That weird weather change that we experience up and down before it finally goes into summer. Just trim a little bit of that off the edge there. Alright. One pocket down. Two more to go. Oh. Yeah. So, like I said, it took me about almost 3 hours to sew that spine in there. I don't know if I'll do that again. Not with one of these. It's a lot easier to do on a journal, I think, than it is for this. And I think it's because it was 1 inch and because of the length of it. And I did the full spine. And I had to do 2, really. So it took a little bit of time to do that. So let's see if I can get that wrinkle out. I've been trying to work that thing out. But that's okay, because I am going to put another little pocket here on the front of all 3 of those. So I don't know if you guys can hear the wind. That it is blowing out there. I wouldn't doubt if my cushions are probably back in the yard again. I kind of gave up. I said, well, when the wind stops, I'll go and get them and put them back, because like I said, I had to chase them down twice. Alright. And this has certainly been fun. I know that. And we're not done yet. Once I get the cover done, I'm not going to sew the signatures in until last. That's just how I do it. You can, if you've finished decorating your signatures and you're fairly certain you're not going to do any more sewing or anything like that in, you can go ahead and sew them in at this point. That's perfectly fine, because the next phase we'll go into is making all those cute little tags and the matchbooks and the pockets and all that fun stuff you get to play with and decorate. So that will be the next video, and then that should be everything. And then it's just a matter of sewing in the signatures and doing a flip through, and then we're done, right? Alright, those are down, and if you watched part 1, you've seen that I had taken some of that Kool-Aid dyed paper that I made that were in those springtime kits, and I do still have 5 of those in the shop, and I'm going to take some pictures and reload the pictures of the individual ones. But anyway, that's for another video, right? But what I did was I just kind of did like a basket weave with it. I cut the strips a 1/4 inch and then just weaved them in and out. And I thought that would make a cute little pocket front pocket here. So I'm just trying to figure out where I want to cut it to. So we'll cut it to here. Well, if I can get some lead out to mark. And there. So now remember, I had said that if you cut this, make sure we cut it on a line so that we can, because we're probably going to have to glue those little edges down. And that's okay. Is sticking in there. I have to take the top off and clean it all out again. There we go. Yeah, I got little dot marks everywhere where I was trying to make my template and realized, uh-oh, I don't have any paper down. My markers went all the way through. Ugh. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to put a little bead, just a little dot of glue, underneath each of these little strips real quick to tack it down, because it's already glued up here. And I didn't glue in between each one when I made the weave. That would have took forever. For sure. Over, under, over. There we go. back side I'm not worried about because it's going to get glued down. Nice little pastel colors in here. Little pocket in there to put a tag or something. Alrighty, let's do that again. Should be able to cut the rest of that piece off of that pocket. And I know that looks all kind of messy with all that, but remember that that's where my spine, where the signatures will get, they'll get sewn in on that false spine and then glued right to there. So all that'll get covered up. And it'll look all pretty. Three nice little pockets in the front. Okay, it looks like a nice spring basket, kind of a little Eastery and a lot springy with all that pastel. And I think, is that all I wanted to do with this one? Yeah, I think that's it for the cover. I think what I'm going to do after I sew in the signatures, I'm going to put a Velcro closure, like one of those little dots, the big circle dot. And then that way, once the signatures are in, I'll know the thickness of it and exactly where it needs to get put. Because if I put it in now and put it like this, it could bow it. I don't want to do that, so I'll put that on last. But other than that, that's my cover finished. And all I did there was just some crisscross with some of the DMC fabric, and I just kind of went, follow the rainbow. Follow the rainbow. Alright, so I think this is it. We've finished the cover. I am happy with it. We are now ready to do all the ephemera that came with the kit, the matchbooks, the tags, the envelopes, the pockets, and get all those decorated and put into the signatures. So that will be the next video. I appreciate you guys hanging out. I know it was a short one, especially compared to part 2, which was a lot longer than I had expected. So if you haven't already done so, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye, guys. Hugs, blessings, and plenty of love. Mwah. Bye-bye.